and you pray 2 rak'ahs sunnah. And when your head is down on the floor in sujood, spend half an hour. Spend 20 minutes. Feel like you're having this conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is, Ya Rabb, I need you. And if Ramadan teaches us anything, it's how needy we are as human beings. It brings down that ego, that little bit of arrogance that we have. The fact that we think we're better, or we don't need anybody, or we did this by ourselves. It brings all of that down. Because it's 12 o'clock, it's 1 o'clock right now. And without food and drink, some of you guys are a little feistier than if you would have had food or drink. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took water away from you for a few hours. And now nobody can talk to you. Somebody has to talk to you very nice and slow so you don't blow a fuse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took water and food just a few hours from you. He took coffee from you just for a bit. And now you can't understand anything. If I talk to you, it's like talking to the wall. And our arrogance and our ego goes down because we realize how much we need that food and water. We're so dependent on our desires. And all day you're hungry and thirsty, and you get to iftar time and a few dates and some water, and you're not even in the mood to eat anymore because you're okay. And it shows us how finite our desires are. And then, if I told you, were you hungry or thirsty yesterday, you're like, I don't know. Even though yesterday, subhanAllah, you were starving and you were dying and you couldn't make it to Maghrib. And if I told you how was yesterday, you're past, I don't know. You forget. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not forget. You get up for those 2 rak'ahs at 3 in the morning. And if I ask you about them next Ramadan, did I pray? I don't know. Did I get up for Qiyam? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not forget. And don't brush it off like, yeah, this brother doesn't understand. I have work in the morning. Everybody sitting next to you has work in the morning. And if they don't have work, they have school in the morning. Everybody next to you has an excuse as well. But the brothers and sisters that get up at 3 in the morning, now they have barakah in their lives. Now they have something that will protect them on the Day of Judgment. And what's the point of being here if it's not to be protected on the Day of Judgment? What's the point of you leaving work halfway through a Friday if it's not for you to protect yourself and your families on the Day of Judgment? So we're halfway through Ramadan. It's the 14th. We have 15 days left, maybe 16. And judge yourself. Have you read enough Quran? This is the month of the Quran. Are you where you expected to be in the Quran? And I'm looking at all your faces and I see exactly how I feel. That you expected a lot more from yourselves. If you expected to read the Quran 3 times, you're not even at 2. And if you expected to read a page a day, you missed a few days. Halfway through Ramadan. If this half you didn't take advantage of, let us work ourselves up to take advantage of the next half. Because that next half can help guide you through the rest of the year until, inshaAllah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that make it to next Ramadan. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد. See, this khutbah that I took from last year is all about the last 3-4 days, subhanAllah. And every time I say, why do we wait till the last week? And everybody's in the masjid, and the masjid is packed, and everybody's reading Quran after Fajr, and people are taking time off of work and school now, and nothing is important anymore because you have 2 days left, and you want to guarantee yourself Jannah. You have 2 weeks now. Make those 2 weeks count. When it comes to Ramadan, I like reminding myself and reminding you that you are special to be in this situation as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen you to be here. Not because only you are a Muslim, but because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it so that you are from those Muslims that also fast. Because there's a lot of our brothers that don't fast. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made you special in that not only has He made you fast and made you from the believers, but He's allowed you to reach this Ramadan anyways. 2 weeks before Ramadan, I mentioned this last time I think, 2 weeks before Ramadan I flew out to Chicago for a friend's funeral. There were 5 janazas that day. 2 weeks before Ramadan. This was Friday, 5 janazas. I stayed there Saturday and Sunday. Sunday there were 3 janazas. And Saturday, there was 3 janazas, and Sunday there was another 3. That's 11 janazas. That's 11 people that were buried that expected to make it to this Ramadan. You open up your Facebook and you see people that made it to this Ramadan that are not going to make it to Eid. Every time I open Facebook, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. My uncle passed away, my brother passed away, my this, my friend, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us. He let us see this Ramadan. He let us fast this Ramadan. Most of these faces I see in Salat al-Taraweeh. He made you get up and pray Isha in Jama'ah and Taraweeh in Jama'ah. This is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you are special. Even more special than that is the fact that, and I have to mention this at least once every Ramadan. Fasting was prescribed on the Muslimin 15 years after the Prophet ﷺ started spreading his message. Not because fasting is not important, but because fasting is difficult. And the Sahaba, their iman had to be unshakable for them to cut off water and food for a whole month. And I also like to remind you guys that we are not as good as the Sahaba, so don't get carried away with what I said, okay? A little humble. The Prophet ﷺ, after 15 years of him spreading the message to the best ummah ever, to the best people ever, the companions, the best people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created after the prophets were the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. And after 15 years, it's a long stretch, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it a fard. He made it mandatory to fast Ramadan. Why? Because it's difficult. For us, the day before Ramadan, you wake up and you have your cup of coffee and you eat and nothing crosses your mind. The first day of Ramadan, like clockwork. You don't even have to second guess it. You might be a little frustrated throughout the day, but you give up water and drink like it is absolutely nothing. And this is important to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed you to be that special. Because when you understand how special Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made you, then it's a lot easier to get up for those 2 rak'ahs at 3 in the morning. Then you can get up and you understand this relationship that you have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where when you pray these 2 rak'ahs, you say, Ya Rab, thank you for making me one of those that were firm on your deen. There are brothers that I see that, it's Ramadan, they'll hide the cigarette so that they don't show it to you when you're fasting. I can't fathom not fasting. It doesn't cross my mind to not fast. And I know some of you guys are looking at me like I'm silly because it's like, why would you not fast? Because that's how ingrained this iman, this faith is in your hearts. That's how special you are. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you all. Very important, because when you understand this relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you understand how needy you are, you understand how much food and drink was taken from you, and now all of a sudden your face is pale and you're tired all day. You understand who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, and you understand who you are. And in doing so, when you know that you need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it brings you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. that arrogance goes away. And that's what Ramadan is about. Ramadan is not about you going hungry all day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need you to go hungry. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves when His servant is close to Him. And He makes you close to Him. And that's why fasting is something that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards. When we come on the Day of Judgment and our scales are wavering, and our sins are so heavy, and we have these good deeds that God knows where we got them from, a few good deeds, and they're trying to make up for that heavy scale of sins. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings this little gift that He has saved for you. You're fasting. And the angels are like, Ya Rabb, where are all these good deeds from? And He says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that fasting is for Him, and He will reward it as He sees fit. So you come, you have no good deeds on the Day of Judgment, but these days of fasting where it's like, Ya Rabb, and fasting, why is it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Everything's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course. You guys are not praying because of me, you're praying for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But fasting is that worship that is, you can't hide between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can come and pray because your dad made you come pray. You can come pray because your boys came to pray and you're like, you know what, if they're going to hang out after Tarawih, I might as well catch Tarawih. But nobody's watching you for the 16 or 15 or 17 hours that we're fasting. So when you don't break it all day, it is purely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards fasting Himself on the Day of Judgment. We're halfway through Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you all. Make sure all of Ramadan for the next 2 weeks you make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes you from Utaqa Shahri Ramadan. Get used to it. Make it a habit. Ya Rab, free me from hellfire. I don't ever want to see it. Make sure that you start building these little rhythms that you can take with you after Ramadan. Because if you're not reading Quran, most likely you won't read Quran after Ramadan. If we don't see you in the masjid during Ramadan, it's very difficult for you to start after Ramadan. This is a blessed month. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you all. And just one last time, because some of the brothers came late, it's never how you start, it's how you finish. Umar was on his way to kill the Prophet. Now he's buried next to him. You missed the first 2 weeks of Ramadan, it's okay. But start tonight. If you can't, if you find it difficult to get up from your bed, have a Tarawih buddy. You check on him and he checks on you. You're feeling a little lazy, but you get that phone call, hurry up, where are you? I'm outside. Now you have to. And those are the relationships, those are the brothers that love each other for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those are the brothers that come on the Day of Judgment under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's shade and are accepted into heaven. You and your best friend going together, you and your brother, you and your father, you and your son. Those are the relationships that you need, and that you need to work on, and that you need to build, especially in this Ramadan. Do not let these last 2 weeks go to waste. Make sure you use them as much as possible. And my last piece of advice is, make sure you leave Ramadan with a few secrets between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A donation you made, some rak'ahs you prayed, a good deed you did that nobody in the world knows but you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. رب اجعلنا مقيم الصلاة ومن ذرياتنا ربنا وتقبل دعاء. ربنا اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. رب اجعلنا من عتقاء شهر رمضان. ربنا تقبل منا صيامنا وصلاتنا ودعاءنا وقيامنا. يا رب تقبل منا رمضان وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
استووا واستقيموا واعتدلوا. Fill up the gaps in the back, brothers. Whoever reaches a gap, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reaches them. Allahu Akbar. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Brothers, don't forget the masjid in your sadaqah, please. And then some of the brothers, if you don't know the timings for the masjid, we have a masjid group chat. So if there's anybody who's not in the masjid group chat and wants the updates from the masjid, please let us know and we'll put you in the group, inshallah.